Hello everyone, welcome back to Dark Souls 2. This is Kay. I am still doing post-commentary. This should be the last episode, and it's a short one. Reason being, this is the last of the footage that I recorded from the audio session that I lost, and I need to, I have had company here for the past few days, so I haven't really had the chance to record anything new. So I'm trying to kind of get this commentary done and out the door so that I can get back to playing and hopefully get ahead of the episodes that I'm posting again. Speaking of episodes, I'm recording this commentary before I've posted the what would be the previous episode, the kind of Stanley Parable spoof. So I'm not sure how that's going to go over, whether people are going to get a kick out of it or just hate it or not get it. I don't really know what kind of following the game had. I couldn't really tell you what made me think to do that. I haven't played the game since basically its release, which was maybe 6 to 8 months ago, I would guess. I mean, it's re-release. I know that it was a mod before it was a independent game, and I never played the mod. I only played the kind of self-contained version. I enjoyed it. It was a very different experience than any other game I've played. Quite an original thing. It was the sort of thing that I wanted to show everyone when I first discovered it. And then, a week later, I felt like there needed to be more in it somehow. I mean, there were so many things you could do, but they were each route was so short, But it was funny and clever, and the dialogue was just to die for. The narrator, Kevin, I want to say Kevin Bright, I think was the voice actor who did the narrator's voice, and he was just he was brilliant. Yeah, so I enjoyed it heaps, but kind of in retrospect, for a game that seemed like it was based on replayability, that you kept wanting to go back and discover that ending that you had missed, I found it not to have much replayability. I only played it in total maybe for 5 hours. It was a short game, even when you added up all of the different routes you could take. So anyway, back to the game at hand. So I'm in the Earthen Peak now, and at the end of I got some, I should probably read the description on this one first before I launch into talking about the altar. So these were the mannequin claws. So I guess these creatures are mannequins, but not like the kind of puppet mannequin spelling that you would expect, spelled differently. Claws used by the mannequins of Harvest Valley. The peculiar art of puppetry is a vestige of the two lost lands. The queen, entranced by poison, used it to beckon unknowing souls to the defiled valley. So, I don't know, maybe that's just an alternative spelling of mannequin that I don't know, because they mention the art of puppetry, so there you have it. So the queen is creating the puppets. And I assume that that's the wife of Vendrick, or possibly the wife of the Old Iron King. I'm still not sure whether the Old Iron King and Vendrick are one and the same, or two distinct kings of two distinct kingdoms. Anyway, so at the end of the previous episode, we discovered the Sunlight Altar. And that was a big reveal, because that's the same Sunlight Altar that was in the Undead Parish in Dark Souls 1. I mean, I would find it difficult to argue that that's there could have been Sunlight Altars everywhere, and that was just another one, because the statue is broken into the same pieces. Now, obviously, the texture is not identical, but I mean, if you discount that as just being, well, they're actually two different games, just the manner in which the statue is broken and the placement of the pieces was spot on. And you could also say, all right, it's underground, but you could see that there was like a lip around the edge of where the balcony was that matches the one that was in Dark Souls 1. And you saw that after I saw that, I sort of turned around and ran back over into that kind of rocky alcove. That was just because I thought, all right, if that's where the altar is, then over here would have been the parish. Like there would have been a doorway that went into the parish, and there would have been the altar and like a large room there. Now, obviously it wasn't there. It was just solid rock. But that's okay, because that is the kind of thing that happens over long periods of time. I mean, the terrain changes, it buckles, it collapses, layers build up over time, so it is entirely possible that just that little pocket remained. And also, it had like the hole in the ceiling with the sun coming down, as though it had somehow, as though it were being preserved by, the firstborn, essentially, who was the firstborn son of Gwyn, the god of war and sun, and the one that was kind of revered by the followers of the Sunlight Covenant, or the Warriors of Sunlight, they were called. So, there you have it. That's my take. I think it's the same altar, exactly the same altar, that was beside the undead parish. And so that further confirms that we are totally like where Lordran was, just many, many, many years in the future. And okay, so we just picked up the poison bite ring, and so we used a Ferris's lockstone and got the poison bite ring. So the poison bite ring, I had to look this up because I didn't remember who it was. All of the something bite rings, which are like defense against certain attack types, I suppose. Like there was a I know the one that I remember funnily is the Curse Bite ring, and that's the one that I actually missed on both of my Dark Souls 1 playthroughs. I never noticed that doorway that left the that extra way that you could leave that building in New Londo Ruins that had all of the ghosts in the middle and like the chimney that you could climb up. There was like an extra doorway in the back of that building that you can go out, and there's a Curse Bite ring there. And I missed it in my first playthrough, and then I did a second playthrough where I was trying to get all of the stuff that I missed. And I knew about it, like I had heard about it, but I completely missed it again. But there were other bite rings in that game. And so, like the flame bite ring or fire bite ring or something, maybe. Or no, maybe it was stone plate. Maybe the elemental defense rings were plates. I don't know, whatever. Let's go through this fog. And it's Jabba the Hutt. So I figured out pretty quickly that I didn't want to be standing right next to this thing. It does seem to roll about. I thought I would give its tail a shot, but it clearly has a tail attack too. So its sides are not as vulnerable, its front is not as vulnerable, and its tails are not as vulnerable. So I thought I would try an array of ranged attacks to see which ones were effective. Eventually that thought crosses my mind. There we go. Let's try some daggers. Some fire bombs. Did a reasonable amount of damage. I had all of these poison knives, and I thought, I'm in a zone where they clearly want you thinking poison, poison, poison. And the boss here didn't seem to be poisoning me. So I thought that, I thought maybe that was like an indicator that it would be weak to poison, so I hit it with as many throwing knives as I could find. And, they didn't process poison as far as I could tell. So this fight, yeah, it was, I don't know. I mean, it was alright. It was fun using all of the different items, but I don't think I ever once felt like I was in any danger. Like, all of its attacks were pretty easy to block. And it was only when I kind of ran in, like, to its side, like when I purposefully went in to do a melee attack, that I felt like I had to worry. But even then, I mean, I thought, you know, alright, I might take a hit, but then I can very easily unlock, run away, and heal. Like, it's pretty slow. So, yeah. Short story, I was underwhelmed. Which has happened a couple of times. I know I kind of, I complained a bit earlier about the bosses so far, and it was because I heard in comments when I fought the Lost Sinner that they had released a patch that made it easier, and I was pretty disappointed by that. Just because, you know, I mean, this is a blind playthrough, and I know that I've played the first game, so I have... Oh, I guess I should read this item. 1 second. Covetous Demon Soul. Soul of the covetous demon that devours all things. Eating is an expression of desire. There once was a man whose deep affections were unrequited. He transformed into the covetous demon, which only made him lonelier than before. And yeah, this is another thing that I had kind of complained about in one of my comment replies, that the bosses so far in this game, with the exception, I guess, of like the Ruin Sentinels and the Executioner Chariot, which are, incidentally, the two bosses that I've had the most trouble with, they've just felt like I'm fighting the same bosses that I already fought in Dark Souls 1, just again. Like, that fight was so similar to the Gaping Dragon fight, you know, in the moveset that the boss has and what you do to counter it. Oh yeah, there were also these pots hanging from the ceiling that, I guess I freed some poor prisoners and then executed them ruthlessly. So anyway, back to the difficulty of the bosses. I was saying that I have a higher, like, kind of base skill level at this game than somebody just coming into it would, who had not played the prior games. You know, I'm used to the movement, I'm used to the kind of, like, attacks that the weapons do and that the enemies do. But that said, I kind of don't think that I should be able to beat as many bosses as I have on the first attempt. Like, the Giant was one, and the Pursuer was one, and the Skeleton Lords was one, and this was one.
Still on the road, are you? Sorry to have burdened you so. This is for you, by way of an apology. I found my thoughts growing hazy. My memories are fading, oldest first. The curse is doing its work upon me. I am frightened, terribly so. If everything should fade, what will be left of me? I had an older brother. We learned to fence together. He became the most decorated swordsman in all of Mirror. I never even compared to him. In fact, I never beat him, not once. But then, one day, he was gone, lost without a trace. Now I'm certain that he was taken by the curse. If only someone would hear my tale. My brother must have come here, too. Soon I may forget even about him. If only someone... Soon
So, Lucatiel's totally got a brother. I assume we have to find him to continue her storyline. So anyway, in Dark Souls, when I defeated a boss in one try, which happened, only a couple times over the entire game, it was this immense sense of accomplishment. And also the pressure on me when I was fighting a boss felt higher because it was always, I had to run farther through the level, first of all. Like, the bonfires weren't nearly as close to the bosses as they have been so far. And then, when you get to the bosses, it's just, well, like I said before, it's kind of like rehashing old territory. So far. I mean, I don't know how far into the game I am. I'm sure there are lots more bosses, and I'm sure some of them will be original and kick my butt, but so far, the going into Dark Souls 1, getting kind of the new experience. Remember also that I never played Demon Souls, so maybe if I had played Demon Souls first, I would have felt the same way about the bosses in Dark Souls. I don't know. I'll let you know when I get around to it, when I play Demon Souls.
Some of them are extreme. None of the... You know how they call this place Drang Lake, right? Well, in the old lore, in stories and the like, they said it had another name. What was it? Well, I don't know. It's just something I heard. Since long ago, many kingdoms have risen and fallen on this very spot. Each like a great flame that turns to soot. Maybe that's why people don't remember much about the past. You see that blacksmith over there? Is he... Oi! Mind your manners. What? You see that blacksmith? Is he one of those hollow? He sort of looks like my father. He's a blacksmith too, you see. The poor man's such a worrywart. But he wouldn't follow me out here, would he? I was born in a land to the west, Volgan, famous for its merchants. There were great, bustling cities. But for me, they were suffocating. And so I set out, in search of stones in faraway land. There are dangers, for certain, but I much prefer to live this way. But for the life of me, I can't remember how I ended up here. It's as if I were drawn to the place, or lured in. Oh, I don't know. No interest.
I think I was trying to figure out how she got her hair to do that. So anyway, yeah. Like I said, short episode, and the next one will be back to live commentary, thank heavens. I may not be able to get it up tomorrow because I haven't recorded it yet. I don't have any like gameplay footage yet, so we'll see how much I can get to today. I mean, I do have to go back to work. But yep, I'll try my best. If it's not up in the morning tomorrow, look for it probably in the evening tomorrow, or I might just wait until Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning. And after that, we should be back on the regular one-a-day schedule with live commentary. and that will be so much easier, and I will try real hard never to do this again, because it was, it led to some interesting episodes, but it's a pain, and it doesn't really fit my schedule at all to spend this much time per episode, especially not trying to do one per day. So anyway, thank you everyone who's watched these. I appreciate your views and your comments, and keep the secret, and I'll see you next time. Bye all.